Hello everybody, we're starting to interrupt your regular scheduled program. We have very important news. As leader of the Soviet Union, Nikita Khrushchev denounced Stalin and tried to maintain Soviet power throughout Europe and to stabilize domestic economy conditions. A surveillance drone was shot down over Cuba by a surface-to-air missile, while U.S. personnel reported that Soviet officials were tearing apart sensitive documents. This means war is more likely, but Russia and the U.S. are trying to avoid nuclear war as best as possible. Furious negotiations were taking place in an effort to avert war. A Soviet intelligence agent contacted the Kennedy administration through an ABC News correspondent, indicating that the Soviet government would consider remove its missiles from Cuba only if the United States removed its own missiles from Turkey and promoted not to attack Cuba. By the end of the day, Khrushchev and Formel agreed to dismantle their missiles and ship them back to the Soviet Union. Kennedy's public part of the deal was a pledge not to invade Cuba and an agreement to lift the blockades as soon as removal of the missiles happened. In the aftermath of the crisis, the Democrats ended up getting seats in the U.S. Senate and only losing 2 in the House. A much better result than they thought, largely on the strength of the Kennedys' handling of the situation. The Republicans, who had intentionally taken the president to task for its indication on the building crisis in Cuba, now accuse him of manipulating the crisis in order to build support for Democratic congressional candidates. While the Cuban Missile Crisis ended up peaceful, it was known as a startling illusion of how quickly Cold War administrations could turn into a nuclear cold front, capable of producing destruction. This realization of how close the 2 superpowers had come to nuclear war led the installation of hotline and direct communication link between Washington and Moscow. That's how enables the leaders to the 2 nations to communicate directly in event of another crisis, rather than relying on go-betweens to direct critical messages and scary solutions. The first hotline was ready for action in August 1963, United States. Soviet relationships improved in a variety of other ways in the months that happened in Cuba Missile Crisis. In July 1963, the United States, the Soviet Union, and Great Britain signed a treaty prohibiting above-ground testing on nuclear weapons. The United States began selling weed to the Soviet Union around that time. The arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union went on uninhibited for many more years. This is Nicholas Voss signing out. See you next time. Goodbye.